Hi, is this okay?
Yep.
Okay, I can't see you guys, so this is great for me. Okay, my name is Sam. I'm a visual artist. It's the easiest thing I can actually introduce myself by, because it's the best. It sounds better than unemployed or a freelancer, because they still ask you exactly what you do. So a little bit about myself, my background. I never set out to be an artist, or I never wanted to really be an artist. I had a kind of upbringing where my parents, or like, I don't know, maybe you guys have the same experience as I did, where they tell you that, you can't make money from art, or, you gotta be one thing. Like, would you want to be a lawyer, or want to be a doctor, and stuff like that? And I pretty much had the same idea, like, I had to be one thing my entire life. The unfortunate thing is, up until I was 21, I was living every day thinking that, I'm just gonna live. I never really had like a goal or anything. I was just living day by day. And if you ask me when I was 15, what I was gonna be in 10 years, I would say married with kids maybe. I'm 31. Nowhere near that. But anyway, a little bit more. Let's move a little bit forward. Well, as I worked a lot of odd jobs. I was maybe from the age of 16 onwards to like 21. I was an admin assistant at DHL. I was a laboratory technician, and I was a cook. I was a lot of different things. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was just kind of like going along with it and realizing that I didn't want to be all those things. And I think the defining moment happened when I was sitting in the lab at this R&D department, quality assurance department, and I was listening to the protein distillator behind me, and I saw my senior walk through, and she was wearing the same uniform as I did. We had the same punch card system, and she was looking all disheveled. She got some log boots and she walked out, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And I called my mom and I was telling her that I gotta get out. But I don't know what I was gonna do. I knew I wanted to do something with my life. And I called her up and I said, I'm going back to school. That's the only way I knew how to buy time. And at that time, that was how I tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I became Sam, magazine editor, and you can call me a blogger, I guess, I don't know, and a self-taught designer. At a point in time, I had no money, and I had a lot of friends too who were really good creatives. They were DJs, they were musicians, they were artists, illustrators, designers, and they all did something that was really cool, and I never really knew why they were not out there so much. So I decided to create this website called Recognition, where in 2008, where I featured all their work. And I wanted them to come together and experience other people's works through this platform. And that was how I started out. I didn't have money to actually hire anybody to do anything. So I taught myself how to design, I taught myself Photoshop, Illustrator, all these different things, just so that I could get the word out. And so this is how the website looked like before. This is now defunct because I got no energy, no stamina, respect. So anyway, so this is how the website looked like. Pretty much learned WordPress and everything on my own. And of course you need to get your word out, right? You want to feature all these people, and so of course you need to get the word out. So I started going into designing more merchandise, like stickers, t-shirts and stuff like that, just so that I could get the word out about the website. And I started experimenting a little bit more. And I realized that, with online websites and stuff like that, you don't really have a lot of airtime for all the people that you want to feature. And I started thinking about more about how we could actually help the situation, how we could, maybe it's inspired by or like influenced by the way we live, the reason why we see things today. And that's when I started thinking a little bit more, and I organized a group show where I curated and invited 20 different artists together to tell me what they think our culture is. And that's where it all started. So I started experimenting a little bit more into the medium because, by then I was already practicing design every day, every night actually, after work. And so I started bringing that message out into the streets. So these are some of the things that I produced. What is your first world problem? So things people could actually pull out their answers and stuff like that. And you can tell, at this point, I was a little bit itchy already, and so I started having my own ideas. And this is when all this started happening. So this is the catalyst. When I was asking all these different creatives what they thought our culture was, and after all the interviews and observations and surveys that I conducted, I learned a lot from them, to the point that I condensed them into questions, which I then posed to the public. And from their reactions, I was able to draw more inspiration to create stuff that you see today. And it's always been about people, about the community. And when I did these pieces, it was to make Singapore feel more like Singapore again. And it was an idea that came about when I was obsessing constantly about these questions. And so, press one scan already, press undo show. All these different things were a reaction against, or more like a reaction to our quickly homogenizing environment. And I want to take that little bit and put it back in there. Take a little bit of us to put it back into our surroundings just so that you feel like home. It's just one small way. And so I started having more fun, started doing a lot more, and I think I had a little bit too much fun. I started going beyond stickers, and I came to a point where I painted on the roads. So I painted on 8 locations in the CBD area. My grandfather wrote in an attempt to kind of branch out beyond the stickers. And shortly after that, I came out with a couple of weed-pasted stuff. So this is a way of trying to engage the youth in politics. And then after that, I had a little bit too much fun. So I got arrested, and did not see that coming. So the thing is, I got arrested on the 5th of June, and here I was known as a vandal. But the thing is, the next day, when I came out on another news article, I was called an artist. So I was a magazine editor who did my own group shows and did my own design work. And then I became a vandal, and now I'm an artist. Wow. So, naturally it's a really big change. As you can see, it's a big jump. I was just having fun, and then this. And bear in mind, I told you earlier on, I didn't have any plans for this at all. I had plans to, when I was still working at the agency, when I was working, when I was working on my website and I was studying, I had plans to start my own agency, just so that I could connect those creatives that I featured to jobs. And that was my plan. And 2 days after I heard that I graduated from school, I was arrested. And so, of course, I threw all the plans out, and I just didn't know what to do, because all this attention and everything was just so new to me. But the thing is, together with the attention, I got a lot of jobs. I did a job with OCBC. I did a job at Urbanscapes in Kuala Lumpur. And one of the biggest things that I've done is this big installation over at Sentosa. And I was commissioned by a lot of companies and government-owned stat boards and government buildings and stuff like that. And I was also invited to Georgetown Festival to take over one of the facades. And I was also invited for Affordable Art Fair, where I was represented to a sold-out show, where I sold these works titled Culture. And on each bottle it says, "More culture than you'll ever be." And if you guys know the culture milk drink, you know exactly what I'm trying to say. And as you can see, I was angry. The thing is, during that whole point of time, when I was experiencing all this, I was also struggling with the fact that I had these expectations on me. And as much as I tried to just trudge on and not let all this affect me, but it was coming through in my work. And I never really saw it until now. I was so angry. And this was done in upon a time when I was trying to figure out what it meant to be an artist. And it was quite a ride. So, at a point in time, because I had all these jobs, I had all this experience, I decided to earn as much as I can right now and figure out what it meant to be an artist. Prior to this, I only had Photoshop, I only had Illustrator. And then, there's this whole purist mentality when it came to being an artist as well. When you say you're an artist, you gotta have a medium of your own. You gotta be able to sculpt, you gotta be able to draw, you gotta be able to paint, you gotta be able to own one medium, There's all these expectations on you if you say you're an artist. I didn't have any of that. And so I decided to save all the money that I earned and go straight into practicing. So then I took a 2-year sabbatical. I became Sam Lo, figuring out how to be an artist. And which is really cool. I had to prove to myself that I could do this. Because if I can't move on, isn't it? If I wasn't sure of exactly what I was going to do, I had to show myself that I am capable of more if this is the path I'm going to take. And so I taught myself together with my friends. We traveled the world. We went painting. That's when I learned how to spray paint. Street artists, they say you have to learn how to spray paint murals and stuff. I didn't know how to do that. So, yeah, we learned how to do that. I traveled to London and Camden. I painted a mural in Shoreditch. And I was playing around as well in the streets in Penang and Singapore. Just little by little, yeah? And after which I went into watercolor. I tried to learn how to tattoo. I learned how to draw. I never learned how to draw before. You don't see any of that in these slides because I'm not going to show you those. I was terrible. And after which I went into ink drawings as well, and they all have different themes. And I also learned how to sculpt. In this whole period of time, I learned how to do all these different things just to find that one medium that I could really relate to and connect to. But I couldn't find anything. I was just Sam Lo, lost. For 2 or 3 years, ever since the whole arrest, after I stopped, I took myself out of a lot of commission, pretty much. I turned down a lot of jobs, and I just didn't want to do what I could do before, or more like I was trying to push away that bit of history. I was trying to push away what I did before, because I want to move on so much from the label sticker lady, so much. I hated it so much. I didn't want to be pigeonholed, and I had to prove to myself, and I had to prove to people that I wasn't just capable of that. And the thing is, no one really saw that, because that is all within me. It's my own projected insecurities. It's everything related to that, And at that point in time, I was trying so hard to prove to myself and to everyone that I could do more than just stickers and more than just what I did before, that I forgot what I was doing it for. I was just going on, just trying to prove something, but, pushing away your history, pushing away what you've been through, just because it was a negative experience, isn't going to bring you anywhere. And then I started questioning, what is my existence for, really? If not for an artist, you always think artists are supposed to express, is supposed to have that freedom, But if I don't even know what I'm trying to say, if I don't have that medium, I don't have a medium. If I don't have a medium of expression, how am I even going to say anything in the first place if you're an artist, right? You're an artist, you're supposed to do all this stuff. And then, because I've been putting all that pressure on myself for the past few years just to try to live up to what I did before, I realized that I haven't really been kind to myself. I didn't take the time to heal. While I was trying so hard just to get to the point where I can make work like I did before again, or like something as good as that, or even better than that, had to look within myself. As much as I wanted to try to be happy about all the attention that I got and all that stuff that I got, but the thing is, I couldn't feel like I was happy, and I never told anyone about that. I was told that I had to be grateful, I had to be happy, I had to be so lucky to have this opportunity, this exposure, just so that I can share my work with everyone. I know a lot of artists want that, yeah. But I didn't set out to be an artist. I didn't know this was going to happen. And I had to be happy with it. That's the thing. I had to be happy with it. So I pushed everything aside and never dealt with the issue that was boiling. And I started thinking, I gotta be kind to myself. I gotta take it slow. I have to recognize what's the issue. And I started taking care of myself, taking things slowly, turning down more jobs, just so that I could work on that. And slowly, as I got better, I thought I could actually move on to the next question, which was for what and who do I create and why? And then I started looking back at all the work that I did before, and it was kind of like dealing with my demons again, facing them, and slowly acknowledging that this is what happened, this is what I did before, this is what I was good at. And I realized it's always been about people. People are the ones, I mean, when I started the website Recognition, it was to showcase the work of creatives and people, to share them with more people, just so that we could see we have a lot of talent here on our shores. And then when I did the project, the sticker project, it was to try to make people feel for the surroundings again. It's always been about people. And so I had to fall in love with people all over again. I had to come out. But I can only come out after I'm done with this. And so I created this platform type called Indigoism, which is what balances the other part of me out. Indigoism is a platform for creative collaborations where I bring together different artists and different creators together to make a great experience. Together we've created the barter market, where it's a moneyless scenario that invites different artists, different creators, different makers together to trade without the value of money, without putting numbers to anything. I also created the barter workshop, and we also came across, I came across this producer, and we are working on this sound platform titled Elevate, which is a platform focused on sound healing. And right now we are trying to clinically prove the positive benefits of binaural beats. So during this whole period of time as I was focusing on everything, I started feeling better again. And I started playing around the streets. So now I'm Sam Lo, Sticker Lady, and I can actually say that. Because after that, I started creating more, and I created new designs in the same vein. And I knew the indication of that success, of how I managed to find myself again, was that I'm able to do all this and feel alive again. And that's the feeling I've been trying to get the whole time. And all this work I showed in my last solo show, which just happened in January. And I feel alive again. And just last year, on the 5th of November, I painted the largest My Grandfather Road, 170 meters long, all across Circular Road. And I did this with the help of some friends, and all 9 of us took over the entire street. And this is the first time I've ever done anything of this scale. It's the first time I've ever debuted or showed My Grandfather Road again, ever since I was arrested. And by then, I knew I'm good. So the thing is, I may have come full circle. I may have done a lot of things just to come back to what I did before again. But the thing is, we just have to trust ourselves. Sometimes as much as all these things, all these different obstacles and all existential crises, all these things can happen. But the thing is, this will never change. You just have to trust yourself and know that you can make it. Thank you.